This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Sean Wade, the CEO of Power Metal Resources, following news on a proposed joint venture of the company's uranium assets. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Sean. How are you?
Very good, Mark. Thanks very much. Very nice to see you.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's good to be catching up. So, as I understand from reading the RNS this morning, the company ACAM, who are a natural resource focused partnership, are interested in a joint venture with Power's entire uranium portfolio, and if this indeed does proceed, will provide an investment of £10 million for majority interest in the joint venture, and they will also purchase loan notes to the value of £2 million in Power, yielding 10% per annum. And this money particularly being used to cover the now aborted uranium energy exploration IPO on the LSE, plus general working capital. So have I got that right, first of all? Does that make sense?
That's absolutely right, yeah.
Okay.
And yes, it's a very, very exciting announcement for us. It's been a long time in preparation, and I know that people have been very keen for some news, so we're delighted to be able to put this out today.
Good. Okay. Well, I wonder if we can talk a little bit, first of all, about the company then, ACAM. I wonder if you can tell us if you know anything about their experience or the portfolio they have and their interest in the mining sector, but also their interest and introduction to Power and the uranium portfolio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, on ACAM, I mean, they're a very, very experienced resource investor. People will, I'm sure, have probably already seen or looked up the deal they did with Amaroq Minerals, or formerly known as AEX Gold, for the Gardak transaction, which is all of Amaroq's non-gold assets in Greenland. They're very well known. They have a lot of other investments in the sector, and they're a very, very big investor with a network of very significant and sort of globally significant investors behind them. So it's a fantastic partner for us. We're delighted to be involved with them, and we're really looking forward to executing this deal. So that's the first thing. I mean, as far as the introduction is concerned, I think we announced on the 24th of March, I think it was, that we were looking at various options for the uranium portfolio. People will know that the plan had been for some time to do a partial spin out of some of the assets into the UEE vehicle, list that in London, and we were marketing that and marketing it very successfully, I have to say. We had a cornerstone investor and a lot of good interest. But I think as we said a few times, the market is still quite weak, quite frankly, for new capital, and it's not easy to raise money at a sensible price. So in the course of this marketing, other options emerged, and we did take the UEE IPO to ACAM with the potential idea that there was a bigger deal to be done, and that's obviously what's transpired. So it's a very, very exciting opportunity. But I think the point that's really important to make here is people think about what is it that actually effectively yields a discovery. What are the key factors? There are a whole lot of things, obviously, prospectivity, geology, geophysics, being near to other existing assets and so on. But of course, the other thing that is crucial if you want to make a discovery is cash. These things are very expensive, particularly in uranium. I mean, the drilling programs, are substantial and logistically difficult, expensive and so on. So having an investor with that kind of financial backing can, really sort of do the job properly, as it were, significantly increases the chances of making a major commercial discovery. Now, that's not to say that UEE, on its own, wouldn't have been able to do that, of course. But this is of a different scale and a different order. And as I said, really does significantly enhance the opportunity for discovery.
Okay. So ACAM then, they a UK company, and they're looking to build out their mining portfolio, and they've got the cash behind them.
Yes, that's right. I mean, the principals are based in the UK. I mean, it's I would say that probably we consider them a global investor, really. I mean, they're kind of I think that they operate all around the world. But I'm sure people can find some information online about them. But as I say, I would point people towards that Gardac acquisition if you want to see sort of on the public record about what they've done in the sector before. So it's the great team, and we're really looking forward to working with them.
Okay, and you're now starting this sort of 8-week, I guess it's a due diligence period that will be going over now happening over the period of sort of 8 weeks. Is there anything that POW can do to sort of expedite that process, to either speed it up or indeed just prevent it going beyond the 8 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of legal documentation that has to be processed. What they're doing is investing in Power Canada, which is our wholly owned subsidiary, which holds the licenses. So there will be all the sort of relevant legal work and work streams that are associated with that. But it is our, obviously both sides, firm intention to execute this. We have an exploration plan of what we want to do, and we'll be working with them to both all the legal documentation and so on, but also getting started on the actual exploration program itself. So it's in everybody's interest to get on with it, get it done as quickly as possible, and to execute.
Okay, you mentioned there, so would that be over this due diligence period, this 8 weeks, you'd be actually looking together at an exploration plan, because the RNS does mention about the potential here for POW shareholders to be exposed to 5 significant high-impact drill programs. So, I mean, is this what will be talked about during this 8 weeks as well?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've already done a lot of work on what we would like to do with the program. I mean, that was obviously part of the initial discussions. Was to say, look, here's the portfolio, here's what we'd like to do. Here's how much we think would be required to be spent on it. Here's what we think, the initial sort of outcomes could be. That's what's got us to this point. So, yeah, I mean, there are very, very significant programs being worked on, and this is going to generate lots of news, which I know is important, and lots of value.
Okay, good. Well, we'll see what happens over the 8-week period. Of course, the intention is to complete the joint venture, although there's no promises. The RNS says that it will go ahead, but all eyes on this over the next 8 weeks to see if this does indeed come off, and then hopefully you can share those exploration plans, particularly with that money that is available, that 10 million. The RNS also talks about the potential for a further 4 million, which is conditional upon a sale transaction completing or other value realization by the investor, subject to the investor achieving a minimum return threshold on its investment. I wonder if you could explain that a little bit more, because I don't really understand what that means.
Sure. Well, let me sort of put this hopefully in simple terms. So you've got, the starting point here is the portfolio of uranium assets, okay? And let's just sort of put that into one parcel and say that's worth £10 million, okay? Separately, ACAM are putting in £10 million of new money. So post money, the entire package with the assets plus the cash is 20 million, okay? Now, they want majority ownership of that, 70%. So that would give, of that 20, that would equate to 6 for us and the balance for them. However, but our portfolio, what we're bringing to the party is worth 10. So the other 4 will come to us, but it will come to us further down the line when certain objectives have been achieved, and essentially when ACAM have made money. So in other words, if this works, which we are very confident that it will, we get a deferred payment, if you like, down the line. So we get our 10, we just get a value today of 6 and then 4 in cash later on.
Okay.
Assuming that the deal completes and assuming that those returns are made.
Yeah, okay. And these returns, these objectives, are they still to be determined?
No, I mean, we have, obviously we've got a contract with them, and we have some terms which we've worked on together, and but I think essentially what you're talking about is effectively a monetization of the investment. So in any form, it could be a listing, it could be obviously a sale or whatever.
Okay.
But if an event like that was to occur and they're deemed to have made sufficient amount of money according to the terms we've agreed, then that payment will be due to us.
I see. Okay. So then, as you mentioned there, POW will hold effectively 30% of the joint venture company here. What does this mean, do you think, then, for power and the investors and the potential for unlocking the value in the uranium projects, and particularly given the favourable uranium market. I mean, you said it is tricky to get placings away or IPOs away in this market, but for certain commodities, i.e. uranium, copper, gold even, this price is performing very well. So, I mean, I'm guessing you're thinking this is a better option than going down the IPO route.
Yes, I mean, look, you're absolutely right about the uranium market. I mean, this is what we've been talking about for some time. This is why Paul staked out this series of licenses, at the time he did, when there wasn't so much interest in uranium, and it's now proved to be the very, very smart move that I think we knew it to be at the time. So a very significant amount of credit, obviously, as ever, goes to Paul Johnson. It is. But what does this mean for the Power Metal shareholders? Look, fundamentally, I mean, this is our business model. Okay, we create value in our assets, and then we seek to monetize them, and then deliver that value, which is what's happening here. So, we effectively, Power Metal shareholders are essentially getting a free carry here on the chance of success. I mean, we will be obviously very close to the operation of this joint venture. We're putting the management team and so on together at the moment, but essentially, you've got 30% of the value, but you've gotten zero of the costs. So ACAM is putting all the money in, and you're going to get 30% of the outcome. So, for a Power Metal shareholder, with the significantly enhanced opportunity to make a commercial discovery as a result of this, because of the cash that's going in, this is a really fantastic outcome. Now, you would have had, as a Power Metal shareholder, a higher percentage of UEE, probably somewhere between 40 and 50%. And there would have been other opportunities within the uranium portfolio and so on. But you'd have had to have raised more money. The uranium portfolio, if we'd have done UEE, what would have been left within Power, yes, you would have had 100% of it, but you'd also would have had 100% of the costs, which, again, difficult to get that kind of cash out of the market, with a relatively low market cap. So, this gives you the opportunity to make discoveries, to have exposure to it, but essentially not have to come up with the cash for it, because basically you've already done that.
Yeah, okay. Just a couple of final questions that's come to mind. You mentioned about the potential listing or potential sale, and I think you actually mentioned maybe TSX. Is there any thought about where this JU joint venture company might list, or if it will even list?
Yeah, there is good interest in in Canada, obviously. I mean, but there are a number of options available, and I don't think we want to really necessarily commit to anything at this point. So, it's not obviously our decision in any case. But I think that when we get to a point where hopefully we've got commercial discoveries under our belt, and significant value has been achieved for this business, for this joint venture, then there will be a number of very, very good options, which will give us the opportunity to further monetize this part of the portfolio. So, we haven't sold the business. We've sold a part of it for a very good price, bearing in mind what we paid and what we spent on it and what we've paid for it, and with significant ongoing exposure, which will deliver more value for shareholders as this joint venture succeeds, which we obviously hope it will.
Okay, good. And just a final question, just on thinking about the potential here for commercial discovery, as you mentioned there. I wonder if any of the discussions with ACAM, have they, through those sort of discussions, have you got any sort of, I'd say, feedback from them, but their expressions of interest, why they like the look of the uranium portfolio?
Yes, well, I mean, look, they're a very, very experienced investor, and they have taken a very positive view on uranium overall. And I think, like a lot of people, they're looking at, factors like the growth in AI, for instance, and the demand that creates for carbon-free power, which obviously comes from nuclear and therefore uranium. And these major sort of macro trends which underpin the moves that we've seen in the uranium price. And I think they recognise that the Athabasca Basin obviously is a great place to be for the exploration piece, and that this is a great collection of assets which gives them that opportunity. So we had they've got the view on uranium. We had we have the right asset at the right time to work with them. So it's a great opportunity for all of us, and I'm absolutely certain that this is going to unlock a lot of value. I mean, we've talked a bit about, the valuation, and, it's not my job to comment too much on the share price, obviously, but, with gold and metal doing so well, with the value now established for this business, I'm very confident that investors are going to look at us and see, this is a pretty undervalued share and an opportunity to make really great returns.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Sean Wade, the CEO of Power Metal Resources.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.